good?
There we go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
About 50 seconds fast since last time I said it. Let's go ahead and call the Maumelle Planning Commission to order. Mr. Neri, announcements?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Most of you already know that Commissioner Johnson is at Lake Tahoe on vacation, and Commissioner Andrews will not even start towards Maumelle from work till 9 o'clock tonight, so neither of those two gentlemen will be with us.
Okay, all right. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from January 25th. All commissioners had copies of those minutes. Are there any additions or corrections? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we accept the minutes as submitted.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? Motion carries. At this time, we'll open the public hearing portion of the meeting. Being no old business, we'll get right into the new business. First item on the agenda is the election of officers for the year. It was supposed to have happened last month, but since we had nothing to do, we canceled that. So at this time, I'd open up the floor for nominations for chairman.
I'd like to nominate Gerstner for chairman.
I have a motion to nominate David Gerstner for chairman. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
And I have a second. Any further nominations? Hearing none. All those in favor, yes.
Yes.
All those opposed? Mr. Gerstner, you want to take the chair?
My question was about to be, are you finishing this or am I taking over immediately?
You're taking over.
All right.
You are now officially the chairman. Good luck.
Well, congratulations, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Neri. Mr. Fisher, you look slightly relieved.
Well, done it long enough, so it's time for somebody new. Or just somebody different. What was that?
I don't know what the mayor said.
What was that from the back?
The mayor was alluding to your longevity, Commissioner Fisher.
On the position of vice chair, do we have any nominations?
I'll nominate John Todd.
Second.
Have a nomination and a second. Do we have any other nominations?
Move nominations to be closed.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
All
Mr.
right.
Todd, you carry on as vice chairman. Position of secretary, any nominations?
Roy?
I have a nomination. Do I have a second?
I would put up Hall Ramsey.
I'll second that.
Mr. City Attorney, first let me ask, do we have any other nominations for secretary?
We get a second?
I have a second for both.
Oh,
Mr. City
I'm sorry.
Attorney.
I didn't realize you had a second for Roy.
I believe I heard one. No seconds?
No.
All right. All those in favor of Hall Ramsey for secretary?
Yes.
Yes.
Those opposed? Commissioner Ramsey, congratulations. Moving on to agenda items, we have item number 1, the proposed preliminary plat of the NCS addition. Mr. Neri.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And a representative of the Holloway firm might as well come to the podium and prepare to stay for a while. This is what was commonly known as the Nick Ruffin addition that we talked about in the subcommittee meeting. It sits in between Lewis Nelson Drive and Victory Lane. Most of my comments have been satisfied. We did address an additional issue today regarding the positioning of the dumpster, and I spoke with Mr. Holloway about that, so that's taken care of.
Excuse me,
The-
Mr. Neri?
Yes.
Go on, what was the discussion on that? Because that was something I was going to bring up.
It's supposed to be set back an extra 5 feet from the lot line, 15 instead of 10.
Okay, but it'd still be in the easement.
What are you talking about?
Well, it'll still be in the setback.
No.
Yes.
Yes? Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Sounds easy to me.
The two most important, though, were to agree to comply with whatever the city engineer asks for you to do, as well as the city fire marshal, whatever he would ask for you to do.
Yes, and I've talked to the fire marshal about this at length. And I talked to the owner at length about it, and they are financially unwilling to sprinkle it this time, and it's not a requirement. So I can't really, they're not going to sprinkle the building.
It was my understanding if it's over 12,000 square feet, you have to.
Under 12,000, yeah. I mean, if it's over 12,000, right, and we're right at 12,000, so it's not required.
I seem to remember that showing 12,500.
No, it's 12,000.
Okay, okay. 7,500 on the third building, okay. Staff would recommend for contingent approval.
And Mr. Rutter, as you're up there, as a point of procedure, would you please state your name and address for the record?
Mark Rutter with the Holloway Firm.
Any questions or comments by commissioners?
So we have no fire marshal comments?
Yes, they're in your packet.
Hearing no questions or comments by the commission, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the preliminary plat, condition to staff comments, including fire chief and city engineer.
Second.
Having a motion and a second, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2, Mr. Neri.
This is the site plan. The comments are exactly the same. The staff would recommend for contingent approval, mainly contingent upon the satisfaction of all city engineer and all city fire marshal comments.
Mr. Chairman, a question for staff. The site plan, does that stay with us?
It does stay with you.
Mr. Chairman, based upon the moving of the dumpsters that we heard earlier, is this going to be an exception? I guess I need to direct that to Mr. Neri.
I'm sorry, I didn't understand your question.
Well, you said that the dumpsters were going to be moved, okay? But they still are going to be within the setback. Does that need to be an exception that we need to grant?
Exception.
Variance, you mean?
A variance, I'm sorry.
Do you intend to leave it there?
If I understood it correctly, or it's the first time I'm hearing it, but I'm thinking you're wanting it outside of the 50-foot.
It's supposed to be 15 feet, at least 15 feet from a lot line.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so we need to move it 5 foot more back than it is now.
But I think the question that Commissioner Fisher is asking is that you're still within an easement.
Right, that's what I was about to ask.
We are not within an easement right now. We're within
Yeah, you
the 50-foot setback, but there's a 10-foot drainage and utility easement all along the east side.
No, he's right. That's the easement.
Well, that's the
Yeah.
easement.
Yeah,
So if he goes 5 foot,
but Jim was just saying that it needs to be 15 foot from any lot line, so we'll move it 5 foot. And it won't be in an easement either.
If I understand that correctly. So
But they're putting a structure,
then that's exactly what I was going to say. Then it comes down to the definition of structure, which if you look in the code in the definitions, which I did today, you could say that this is a structure.
Jim Morley and I looked at that specifically today. Any accessory structure or building
Correct.
can be within the setback. So it's okay for it to be there, and we allow that in residential rear yards all over the place. They have to be 10 foot from the property line, but they're still within the rear setback, which is typically 25 or 15 feet. but it still allows them. Same thing industrial. You can look into the Balkan area restriction, I think is where it's at, Mr. Attorney.
It is.
But they can remain within the setback. It just can't be within 15 feet of the property line in industrial zoning.
Okay, well, my question was, did we need to grant a variance?
No, you do not.
Okay.
As long as it's 15 feet from the lot line.
Lot line.
Lot line. Gotcha. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Do we have any further questions or comments? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the proposed site plan for NCS facility,
Subject to.
subject to all the subject twos.
Second.
Hearing a motion and a second, all in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, no. Motion carries. Item number 3, Mr. Neri.
Approve as submitted landscape plan for NCS addition.
Any questions or comments from Commissioner, of staff, or the applicant? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we approve the proposed landscape plan for NCS facility.
Second.
Hearing a motion and a second, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed, no. Motion
Thank you
carries.
very much.
Thank you, Mr. Rutter. Item number 4, Mr. Neri.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is the proposed site plan for the Stericycle Corporation. Mr. Holloway, you want to come up now? The comments are almost exactly the same as on NCS. Again, the most important 2 comments are to agree to comply with whatever the city engineer asks of you and also the city fire marshal.
Eric Holloway. When I'm not on Facebook, I'm 200 Casey Drive
Thank you, Mr.
in the industrial park. But I absolutely will comply with the city. I think he has 3 comments, and in each and every one of them, we will comply with the city engineer. And I must admit, I threw my partner under the bus. I did not tell him about the dumpster change.
Yes, I noticed.
That was, so I have to take up for him and say that I apologize. I didn't tell him. But we've taken care of that, I guess.
Curiosity, on the left side of the building where they're doing the proposed parking spaces for trailers and everything, is all that going to be taken down to the current grade of the front of the building? Because it does.
I have some grading there. You can see it actually, it's lower. I have a 2% slope across that parking lot from front to back, so it'll be a little lower than the current parking lot that's there.
And all that dirt
That goes up, that ramps up, absolutely. It'll be taken down. I mean, for the most part, I've pulled the parking lot off of that slope, so we won't impact it too much, but there'll be a curb, and it'll have just a little bit of impact.
I was just curious when I looked at it.
That's actually why I kept a green space there, was to not impact that slope.
Any further questions or comments of staff or the applicant? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we approve the proposed site plan for Stericycle Nabisco Branch Warehouse Interstate Development applicant,
Subject to.
subject to staff comments.
Second.
Bring a motion and a second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Item number 5, Mr. Neri.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is the landscape plan for Stericycle Nabisco. Approve as submitted.
Any commissioner questions or comments? I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the proposed landscape plan for Stericycle Nabisco Branch Warehouse as submitted.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed say no. Motion carries. Item number 6, Mr. Neri.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a proposed preliminary plat for the Panther Mountain Commercial Edition, lots 1 to 3. This is in our extraterritorial jurisdiction. Mr. Bagwell, if you please, sir.
Please state your name and address for the record, please.
Jim Bagwell, 24 Dunbar Road, Conway, Arkansas.
Thank you.
The most important part, almost always, of a ETJ review is the satisfaction of all Pulaski County comments. We don't enforce very much out in the ETJ, but they do. And as you can see by the correspondence I have from county staff, they're at a point where they're satisfied, so staff is going to recommend for approval pending satisfaction of all remaining county comments. As I understand it from Mr. Craner, there are none.
That's my understanding also, so.
Any questions or comments by any commissioners? I will entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the proposed preliminary plat for Panther Mountain Commercial Edition lots 1 through 3.
Subject to Pulaski.
Oh, subject to staff and commissioners' comments
And Pulaski County approval.
and county
Final.
approval.
Yeah. Isn't
They-
that the way it's supposed to go?
They sign first, then we sign.
Do I have a second?
Second that.
All right, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed say no.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Number 7, Mr. Neri.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Items 7 and 8 go together, so to speak. First, we have a request for amendment to the Maumelle Master Land Use Plan from SFD, which is single-family detached, to SUR, which is special use residential. You can see the staff analysis that was done regarding this request. This property is about 2.5 acres just west of Counts Massey, just north of Crystal Hill. It, of course, belongs to the Jackson brothers. When they purchased this property, as I'd mentioned several years ago, it was brought out at that time with no uncertainty that in time they would actually ask for a rezoning of this property to accommodate more of their multifamily community, and that's what they intend to do here. If this is approved by the Maumelle City Council, I think they intend in time to build 56 units, 28 one-bedroom, 28 two-bedroom. As far as the comments from the community, I had 11 by the end of business today, 9 in favor, 2 opposed. And as you all have heard me say on more than one occasion, when we do these, we look at what we think is the best use of this land. I think everyone knows that this was never going to develop as single-family detached, ever, and especially when the Jacksons bought it. They have a very pleasing, aesthetically beautiful community now. I think this will be an even more beautiful addition, if you can imagine that. And it could bring some more residents to spend more tax dollars in Maumelle. Staff is going to recommend for a due pass recommendation to the Maumelle City Council.
Very good. Any commissioners have any comments of staff or the applicant who is present? And feel free to come on up to the podium if you like, or you can wait for questions. Mr. Neri, I think you may have addressed this, but were there any, I believe you said there were 11 public comments regarding this?
9 in favor, 2 opposed.
What did the 2 in opposed have in particular?
One gentleman who is actually a current resident of the Jackson's other property said he didn't want to see all the nice foliage and forested trees cut down. A lady who said that we have a traffic problem in Maumelle, this only compounds it, and we don't know what to do with it, and we're just about to vote on it, this is before the election, and that she was opposed.
Any revision to the comment after the election?
None whatsoever.
Thank you, Mr. Neri. Any further comments or questions? For agenda item number 7, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion for a due pass to amend the Maumelle Master Street land use from an SFD to an SUR.
Do I have a second?
For the river, or for the Villa, for that River Valley, River Point, oh geez.
I'll second whatever he was going to get out.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Those opposed say no.
Secretary will work it out properly.
Absolutely.
I think that term is now administrative assistant, Commissioner Fisher.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, because I'm not going to help you on it.
Motion carries. Item number 8, Mr. Neri, anything else to add?
No, sir. Only to say that this is a proposed amendment to the Maumelle Master Zoning Map from R1 Single Family to PRD Planned Residential District. The comments are the same. Staff will recommend for a due pass recommendation to the Maumelle City Council.
PRD, that kind of goes along with what everything else was.
That is what
That
everything
is
else
what it
is.
was.
Yeah.
Any further comments or questions? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to the city council, do pass for the master zoning map change from R1 to PRD.
Second.
Hearing a motion and a second, all those in favor say yes.
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 Those opposed say no. Motion carries. All right, I will now close the public hearing. We'll move on to city council liaison reports. The meeting for February 5th, that was mine. First and foremost, congratulations are in order to Commissioners Green and Johnson for being reappointed to this body. Additionally, this meeting saw the official resignation, or the announcement of the resignation of Alderman Kelly, and I'll let the next meeting liaison report get into his replacement. As far as matters pertaining to the Planning Commission, there was the first reading of Ordinance 959 to amend the master zoning map, and that was for the Stericycle facility. Moving on to February 20th, Commissioner Ramsey.
Well, Marion Scott took his place after a long conversation. And then the only other thing was the second reading of the master, now I've forgotten which one it was.
Ordinance 949.
The zoning map.
959 for Stericycle? By chance?
Do what?
By chance, Ordinance 959 for Stericycle?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, very good.
Right. I don't know why I didn't write a note on that.
All right, March 5th, Commissioner Todd.
I had that, and we had the third reading of Ordinance 949, amending master zoning map for Stericycle. And actually, I think that was it, other than there was a Resolution 2017-08 approving the mayor to enter into an annexation agreement with no objection. And this was pending on the election. If it passed, the owners out there had agreed to, under certain provisions, go on and commit to entering into the city limits in a time frame that's above my pay grade.
Right. Commissioner Johnson had March 19th, and as he is absent, does anybody attend that meeting and can give a report? If not, I will refer to the minutes and the video on the city's website. City Council liaisons for the month of April. April 2nd, Commissioner Green, that is you, and Commissioner Andrews has April the 16th. Commissioner, any further announcements?
It is my intention to put the master street plan on the April agenda. That is my intention. It's been underway for some time now, and I think we'll probably be ready for you guys to have a look at it then. That concludes my announcements.
I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion we adjourn.
Second.
And congratulations, you conducted a marvelous meeting.
Very good. Very well done.
Thank you, Commissioners. All those in favor, yes?
Yes.
We are adjourned.
What about those opposed?
A little bit longer than that.
I'm going to vote against it.
The minutes from you, I need you to sign them. The minutes.
Yes,
I need you to sign them.
yes.
When you call for a motion, give us a second to discuss that motion